put prettily in front of something. Let's get rid of my keyboard. Good evening, good evening, good evening. I'm just trying to put something pretty for you to look. Well, that's not really pretty, it's dirty stencils. What do you do before starting a live? You decide to totally disconnect your camera and put in a new position, of course. Why not? With 5 minutes to go. Oh, I think I've got everything set up. Good evening, Tabitha. How you going? Just let me mute my phone so I don't hear myself. I have been told in my lives my voice comes across very loud because my webcam is quite close to my mouth, probably about 10 centimeters away. So I have put my webcam up higher and zoomed it in, so hopefully it's in focus. I won't be able to tell because, hey, with my eyesight I can't tell if anything's in focus. Let me know. Actually, Tabitha, you'd be a good guinea pig for me. Let me know if the sound is any better, because apparently I'm really loud in my videos and in lives because of the position of my camera. So if you are here joining us, pop in and say hello in the comments so I know I'm not talking to myself. I do that a lot anyway. Hello, it's Melinda from Scrapbooking if you're wondering who it is. I am jumping on tonight. Hang on, Tabitha's written me a message. Let me just zoom down and read that. Tired, waiting for my quesadillas to cook. Ooh, yum. Hi, Joanne. How you going? Oh, I had a bacon and egg sandwich because I couldn't be bothered cooking and Alexis wasn't eating, so I wasn't cooking. Quesadillas sound really nice, though. Oh, I've got lots of, I should make some. I've got lots of tortilla shells from the taco boxes we use. I love the sauce and the coating in the crispy chicken box, but we never use enough of the sorry, I'm reading comments. I can't think and read at the same time. It's late at night. Well, not really late at night. Ernest said you have a tiny voice and not too loud. Okay, so it must be much better. I'll listen to this live back again and make sure it's sort of in focus. Let me know if it's out of focus because I really can't tell on my little screen. Miss Assistant says hello. Hello, Miss Assistant. It's Tabitha's daughter. We call her Miss Assistant because she helps Tabitha on her lives. So tonight I just thought I would jump on, and I didn't really do a demo today because life's just hectic. I'm still editing videos for my classes and filming. Whoops. Don't tell Craft Alive. I haven't filmed some of my classes yet for the rest of the week. It's our little secret. I thought I would just jump on and play. So I'm going to play with some of our new phone stamps. I just stamped out these images. These are from a Dina Wakley stamp. I'm going to have an avalanche in a minute. Dina Wakley stamp set. Got a bit of an idea in my head what I'm going to do, but you never know. Sometimes those ideas don't work. So if you're new to art journaling, welcome. Hello, Alexis. You going to say hello to all the peoples?
Hi.
Oh, you might not have heard a hi. Teenagers coming into the room. So when I art journaling for me is a lot about taking time out of my day just to play, just to get messy, express my feelings, do a whole lot of that sort of stuff. It's a good place to experiment with supplies as well and see what works with what and what doesn't work with what. So personally, I like to work in altered books. So this is a horse book that I got from, was that a mum?
I can't see snow.
Hopefully the bunny's in the cage. I do not want to hear that when I'm doing a live. We have two bunnies and one likes to escape. Joanne said, hello, Alexis.
Hi, Joanne.
You might not hear her. She's in the, you might not hear Alexis, Joanne, but she said hello back. So I like to work in... Oh, she's hiding in the hutch. Oh, good. Yes, that bunny likes to escape. Tabitha says, hello, Miss Assistant. Hello, Miss... Oh, God. Tabitha said, hello, Miss Alexis, and Miss Assistant said, hello, Alexis, too. Oh, it's going to be one of those nights. So I like to work in altered books. They're a bit more affordable than journals, and I like to recycle. And sometimes I incorporate what's on the page within my work as well. Oh, you can hear Alexis. Oh, sometimes she talks a bit quietly. She's usually very loud, but then when I put the camera on, she talks quietly. She'll probably pop in and pop out. She's probably looking for food. I offered her dinner, but she said no, so I made my dinner instead. So yeah, I like working in altered books. This particular one, I liked the size of the book and the paper in it. Didn't really pick it for the horses. Sometimes I incorporate what's like a black and white photo in my book in my design. Sometimes I don't. So the only thing I've done to this page is given it a light coat of gesso. So let's put some background colour down. I'm going to use my favourite paints at the moment. I've got a box of supplies beside me. Hopefully it's all the stuff I want and I don't have to go finding stuff. We're going to make do with the stuff we've got beside me. Usually when I art journal, I go, oh, this would be great, that'll be great, and I'm off foraging and trying to find stuff. So I'm going to use some Dina Wakley paints. I've got Lime, Ocean and Peacock. I like the Dina Wakley paints because they're what we call a heavy body paint, so they're a bit thicker than a lot of acrylic paints. And you can see your brush strokes in them. And I just love Dina Wakley's colours. So I'm just going to squirt out a little bit. My friend Jen from Hillbilly Scrapping sells all these paints. If you've ever done any classes with us in person before COVID hit, Jen and I team up at the craft shows. We use all her beautiful paints and papers and things, and then we use my chipboard and embellishment. So just wetting my brush so I can move the paint around. Basically just going to lay some paint down in the background, not being too perfect. I might bring a stencil in and do some reverse stenciling or some stenciling over the top. I'm going to be terrible and not clean my brush. These three colours will blend together, so I don't really have to clean my brush. That's why I chose these three colours. And this is sort of a Christmassy layout. I probably didn't necessarily have to gesso my page because I'm putting paint all over it, but I did. So gesso, if you haven't used gesso before, it's an undercoat and it sort of seals your page, so then when you put paint and other things on top of your page, your paint's not soaking straight in, it's sort of sitting on top. I need a bit more paint. Which one didn't I use? I didn't use this one. I didn't put stuff before me pages. Hang on a minute. Just going to grab some paper to put under the page I'm working on, otherwise I will coat every other page with green paint. And now it's the end of the roll, so it all wants to do is curling up. So this is just greaseproof paper from Woolworths. It's like $2 for about 30 metres. I use it a lot to put under the page I'm working on. I also use it as a paper to stamp and stuff on. Yes, Alexis? What are you after, sweetie? Or are you just going to stand there and stare at me? No, she's gone again. I can make you something to eat if you want after this. It'll be about an hour, Alexis.
Yeah.
Okay. Decide what you want and then I'll make it for you after this. I don't know. Did ask Child if she wanted dinner. Didn't want dinner when I offered it to her. That's how you love kids. So just putting a bit of a darker colour down. Did snow do anything? What did snow do? Oh, snow's always bad. Snow's one of our bunnies, if anyone's wondering. We have two naughty bunnies. You might hear them later. They haven't had a run today. We'll have to give them a run later, Alexis.
You want to run?
The bunnies live in a playpen or a run at the back of the corner of the lounge room where I film in, and we often let them out to run around the house, supervised of course, because they are like teenagers, are like toddlers, and they get into everything. Just going to give this a quick dry. This is mostly dry, and then we might do some stenciling over the top of it. Oops. Just trying to make this really thin so you don't have to wait for it to dry a lot. I can't hear you. Heat tool, I've had that for a while. It's quieter. It is a quieter one. It's one I can use when I'm doing lives and filming.
Oh, maybe it's the other one I'm thinking of as well.
Yes, you are thinking of the other one that's loud. Hi Diana, how you going? Sorry, yeah, it is Diana. Keep trying to read names incorrectly today. It's called lack of sleep lately. Obviously put too much water over here. It's quite wet still, but that's okay. So I'm just planning on doing my background at the moment. I have an idea of making some little angel fairy things in a minute. I might just grab, I didn't grab paper towel. Do I have? I have paper towel within arm's reach. I try to put everything with arm's reach so I don't have to go off and find anything. So now I want to bring in a stencil and I want a backgroundy stencil. Let me see what I've got. Let's do this one. So this is one of my stencils and it's a Christmassy page. Let's stick with a Christmas theme. And I actually want to use the stencil backwards. So if you've ever heard of backwards or reverse stenciling, it's actually putting a lot of paint down. I'm just looking for the colour I want. Do I want to? Yes, I want this colour. So I'm just going to grab Dina Wakley Marine Paint. So this is what we call reverse stenciling, or I call it backward stenciling. So usually, traditionally with a stencil, you'd pop your stencil down, you'd pick up a makeup sponge, and you'll put paint through the stencil, but we're actually going to do it in reverse. If you're doing it in reverse, you need to make sure, A, you've gessoed your page. Otherwise the paint just sticks into your page and you can't rub it off. Or you've got paint on your page that's dry. I need more paint than that. Where do I put the marine paint? So this technique only works over gesso or over paint. So I'm just going to cover up. You're probably thinking, why is she covering up that beautiful green colour? Need some more paint. So what we basically do is paint over the areas where we want to put our reverse stenciling. While your paint is still wet, I'm just going to pop my paintbrush, oh, hopefully it doesn't fall to the floor. While your paint is wet, we're going to grab a baby wipe. Oh, new pack of baby wipes, I can't grab one. I don't want 6 baby wipes, I only want 1. Really? I'm going good, Diana. I'm a bit tired, but we get there. I'm always tired. I own a business and I have a Nelly teenager. So yeah, you wonder where my days go. Oh, and I have 2 bunnies to run after. So to do the reverse stenciling, we're just going to place down our stencil. Take a damp baby wipe. You don't want it sopping wet. So if your baby wipes are quite wet, you want it sort of wet but not sopping wet. Does that make sense? Damp. And we're just going to gently rub through the stencil. Just moving the baby wipe around so you've got a clean area. And we're going to remove the paint through the stencil and we'll get our design. And we'll get that lovely lime colour coming back through. Now it doesn't 100% take off the paint in some areas it will. So this is another way to use your stencils. Works really well with very open stencils, so the more open spaces you have, the better this sort of works. The more open space you have, I should say. And I do apologise if my table is wobbling. I'm trying not to. Wipe a bit of the paint off my stencil. Usually I don't clean my stencils if it's paint. So now I can go ahead and dry that. Oh, I've now got the flu all over me. Oh, you love this technique with distress inks. I love playing with distress inks. I haven't used them for ages. I love spraying water through the stencils with distress ink. That's really fun. Problem is, I think I have too many supplies now, and I don't play with... I sort of forget about some of my supplies if they're not right in front of my face. And things get buried in my house under piles, and if I can't see it, I won't use it. So now I want to bring some of that lime back into it, because I've sort of made most of that lime disappear. So I'm going to grab the same stencil and a cosmetic sponge. Where did I put that lime? Forgot to get something to put paint on. That's alright. That's why I have brown paper on my table. Oh, it looks like I've got to get another tube of lime paint. Every time I go to hillbilly scrapping, my friend Jen from Hillbilly Scrapping in Swan Hill, I always end up with my suitcase tends to be heavier when I come home than when I went up. I go shopping. I am dreadful. She has all these fantastic paints and huge amount of stuff. This is very subtle, but I sort of just want it to be subtle in the background. So I'm just building up a background. I have an idea of a focal image we're going to build up in a minute. I think I sometimes start with an idea in my head and it works out. Sometimes I start with an idea in my head and it doesn't work out. It just, the technique or what I imagine I think I'm doing just doesn't work. But art journaling's all about fun. What I do is I treat art journaling as sort of a bit of therapy and a bit of time out. So I'm taking time out for my business, even though I should be editing and filming videos tonight and cutting chipboard, which I'll do after this. Art journaling for me is all about playtime and just having fun. At the end, if I don't like the page, I don't care. I've had fun. If I don't like the page, I work out why I don't like it. If it's my paint colour combination, and sometimes they're weird ones. Or it might be the image I didn't use, the image I used or something. So if I don't like the page at the end, I sort of work out why, and then I don't do that again, hopefully. Most of the time I like my pages. Okay, what am I going to do? Now, we need some more. Need some more in the background. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? We do some diamonds. Or we do some of that. Or, oh, we'll do this. We'll use this one. I think this is another one of my stencils. I think this is called Old Fence, Old Gate. I have that many stencils now. I have no idea what half of them are called. So I'm just grabbing some archival ink. The reason I'm using Tim Holtz or Ranger archival ink is I don't know whether I'm going to put any more water things on top. So if I don't use an archival ink, say if I use a Tim Holtz distress ink that's water reactive, the design will move if I put something else on top. So let's go. What colour are we going to go? I wonder if this is going to show up. Let's try this one, which is called Fern Green. So I've just discovered these makeup brushes, or these brushes, and they are fantastic for applying ink through stencils. I love using them on my cards or my art journaling. So I'm just going to clean this off. To clean it off, I just rub it on a bit of scrap paper and make sure no black ink's coming out, because I probably used it with black ink last. So I'm just going to sort of rub it across the pad. Oh, this is going to make the table wobble. Apologise. I keep saying I'm going to get a better table to work on, but I just haven't built it yet. I've got all the pieces. You can't really see that. Let's go a darker colour. I'm not going to be able to line that up, so let's just go for it. I can see my computer monitor bumping around. Let's try to be a bit gentler. So you can get quite light tones with these brushes, or you can get quite heavy tones, which is cool. I still can't see that either. Let's go to black. These obviously aren't dark enough colours, and I've only got go to good old-fashioned black. Should have done that in the first place. I just want to do it really light. Really? Things aren't working tonight. Am I not pressing hard enough? That might be the problem. Ah, there we go. I wasn't pressing quite hard enough. So I just want to add a little bit of this design in and around. Then we might start working on our focal image, and then I'll decide if I want to do any more in the background. So a background's supposed to be sort of subtle, so your focal image doesn't get lost or detract from it. Sometimes my backgrounds aren't subtle. Neither am I sometimes. Okay, let's work on some focal images and then we will see where we're going. So most of this is going to be covered up. Just put that paintbrush in water. So I've pre-stamped out some of my focal images. I'm using a Dina Wakley media stamp called, what's it called? Oops, oh well. I love the saying, done is better than perfect. And I think that is a fantastic saying for art journaling. Done is better than perfect. So I've just stamped them on some 160 GSM paper from Officeworks. And I'm just going to, actually I'm going to draw their bodies first before I go start cutting. Did I put a pen in my box? Pencil, that'll work. So I'm just going to draw a simple body shape on them. And then I might find some Christmas pattern paper to give them clothes. But this will give me an idea of sizing. I love using Dina Wakley stamps and her heads and different things, and then I don't have to draw them. I don't mind making bodies, they're easy to make. So we've got one body. I don't have a rubbish bin. Take a pile of paper over the other side of my desk. So has everyone been catching up on all the great classes and the lives at the Great Australian Craft Show? I caught a couple of them in between multitasking doing other things. Oh, it's saying, why are we not? Oh. We're gone. Sorry about that, people. It dropped off. I don't know why. Don't you love technology? Technology and I aren't friends lately. Grrr. So I think we're back live. I'm just going to go check on my phone. Hopefully everyone can find us again. Hi Val, how you going? Sorry, just setting up my phone again because our rude internet dropped off. All of a sudden I looked up and it said I wasn't live anymore. I don't know what I did, whether I did it or not. So we're just cutting out our little peoples and we're going to give them some clothes. Yes, you're back. Thank you, Joanne. I don't know what happened. All of a sudden I looked up. I was concentrating on what I was doing and obviously talking to myself. And it said that it had stopped. Weird. I find our internet around 7:30 to 8 o'clock sometimes will just really not connect. My daughter and I have tried to go live on YouTube sometimes, and for some reason between 7:30 and 8 o'clock we have so much trouble connecting some nights it works. I don't know. Technology's great. I thought this would be a good time to do it because everyone would be off the internet that works. So I want to do something with the figures grouped together. I see a lot of, quite a few YouTubers I watch group sort of figures together like this. So what do we want? No, we want 3 coming down like this. Now, what are we going to do? Are we going to give them some pattern paper? Let's find some pattern paper to give them some clothes. Oh no, Tabitha, it took you to the original one. That's a bit weird. I'll have to keep a better eye on it. It's hard to... Oh, peak hour on the internet. Possibly, Naomi. Yes, it's frustrating sometimes. I thought peak hour would be like 9 to 5 where everyone's trying to work. It's weird. Every time we get a notice saying they're doing NBN maintenance, it seems to get worse for a week after that. And that seems to go fine for a while. I don't know. NBN's supposed to be great, but it's not. So I think we're going to give our people some scrapbook paper clothes. Let's see what we've got, if any of this matches. Oh, that's a bit bright. So this is just a paper pad from... Oh, that one might go. Let's pull that one out. This is just... Oh, could be last year's or the years before reject shop stack. I'm a little addicted to the reject shop stuff. It's very good value, and when my daughter and I craft together, it's good to have stuff that you don't pay $10 or $12 for a pad of paper. I'm a very scungy crafter. I am terrible. I like to get things on sale, and maybe that one looks nice too. So we're just going to give them, and hopefully they're long enough. So I'm just going to cut out I never measure anything or do anything like that, so hopefully it will work. Yes. I'm dreadful. I don't measure anything or pencil anything out usually, or apart from these bodies, I just go for it. It's only a bit of paper. What's the worst to do? Cut it wrong. I've got another sheet in the paper pad. And we're going to do some stenciling over the scrapbooking paper, because you can't just have scrapbook paper stuck on an art journal page. You've got to make it look arty. Oh, I like the green. That's just perfect. I didn't even open that paper pad before I looked at me colours. Oh, Tabitha, you've never seen that one, so it may be a few years old. Oh, I can't remember. Isn't that terrible? I can't remember when I bought stuff. That obviously means I have way too much stuff. Let's be a bit just strategic here and see if I can give her a bit of a collar under this one. Could have been a few years old. I often pick them up after Christmas for 50 cents or $1, even though they're only $4 to begin with. One year I got a whole bunch for 20 cents. It was really cool. They weren't in with the Christmas clearance stuff, so I cheekily found them on the shelf and they were Christmas, so I took one up to the register and said, oh, how much is this? Is it discounted because it's Christmas? She goes, it's 20 cents. So I went back to the shelf and sort of picked them all up, and they all come home with me. But that didn't happen last year. I tried that last year, and they must have cottoned on to us crafters because they weren't 20 cents. It was like, oh, can't do that again. Like that one as well. So it wouldn't be me unless I put something over the top. Now, did I grab a glue stick? No, I didn't. I've only got wet glue. Hang on 2 seconds. I'll see if I can find a glue stick. Found one. If you could see beyond the little square of the filming area, you would be Terribly disgusted. I have stuff everywhere. I've been doing all these projects for Craft Alive, and I'm also designing classes for a virtual retreat that my friend Hillbilly Scrapping is running in November. I believe that one's actually closed for registrations, but we are looking at running them quite often next year, every couple of months, which will be fantastic. She also runs in-person retreats as well, and we've got, hopefully, crossing our fingers, we can run our November one in person in Swan Hill. It's looking good at the moment. Hopefully the numbers stay down and we can run that one in person. I'm so missing the craft shows this year. We had our whole calendar booked. We got one in, and then your reject shop had Christmas out, but no paper. I have not been into the reject shop for months, which is downright terrible. Usually I go in there at least once a week, because I usually have to go to another shop that's close by, or I make it close by. I walked up to the shopping centre the other night with Alexis, but we only went into Woolworths, and we only went to the counter at Woolworths to get her silly looking plastic Oshies. And I didn't go any further. I don't think the reject shop was open that hour when we went up there. I miss wandering around the shops, just having a look at things. I don't do that as much now. I'll go up with a purpose, and if I have to go into town, I will wait until I've got loads of things to do, and then I'll go into town all at once and get all my stuff done. I used to just go into town sometimes when I didn't have my daughter, just to wander around the shops. Isn't that dreadful? Window shopping. Okay, I think I'm liking my peoples, but I think they need a bit more mixed media on them. They do need some. I think definitely this one and this one. I may be wrong when I put it on, but that's okay. I have another second sheet of paper. I can fix it. So let's grab our inks out again and go with, now to choose a colour, this colour possibly. So this one is Cornflower Blue. Where's my blending brush? So this is another one of my stencils. Just ignore the wonkiness. I often get the stencils that are accidents, and sometimes they are accidents because I have designed something incorrectly. Sometimes the machine has a hissy fit and cuts something incorrectly. Most of the time it's me. So I put up, just on our website, I have had a big clean out of my office, and I've got loads of not so perfect chipboard shapes in bags on the website. We've got not so perfect stencils. Most of the stencil is really good. It may just have a cut where it shouldn't have a cut, or it may not have cut in a certain spot. So you can sort of see all those on the website. And there is a bunch of foam stamps. My machine has been having hissy after hissy after hissy cutting foam stamps lately. I don't know what is going on with it. Some days I call my laser machine my second child, and it's like a toddler, and it just chucks tantrums some days. It's now not liking to work if it's above about 22 degrees in the room. Silly machine. It's only 12 years old. Oh, I'm liking that. So that's our poinsettia, I think. So there's lots of things on the website. You can get lots of bargains for your mixed media and art journaling. A lot of the foam stamps are good. They're just not good enough for my standard to sell as a perfect shape. They'll still stamp in a funny way. In a funny way, I'll put it that way. I think I like that one unembellished, but let's put something on this one. What else have I got? Something else that's Christmassy. Because she's got circles on her. Let's put some... This is our Christmas wreath stencil. So this one's more like a mask, so you're actually filling in the background, which looks really cool. Oh, you're going shopping after you finish eating, Tabitha? Yep. Alexis doesn't think it's a sale until there's a Tabitha order.
Nobody said that. I agree.
Now she's picking on me. Alexis is picking on me. Yes. We've got lots on sale on our website.
Tabitha's the one that usually does the largest order.
Yeah, Alexis just said, Tabitha, you usually take the cake for the largest order. Then again, there was a large one I posted out today, so you maybe...
How many items?
I can't remember, I'll have to look up. It was, the pizza box was nearly full. After I get off the live, I've actually got to turn my machine on and cut some more chipboard that needs to go out on Thursday. Actually, I don't know whether I like that now. Let's see if we can fix it up. Let's see if we've got, not white, have I got a black pen? No, of course not. I wouldn't have a pen where I could easily access it, would I? No, that's a blue pen. Oh, there's one. I was not going to get up and go wandering and looking for stuff. So actually this might be a bit thick. I thought I had even just a Bic pen around I was writing with. I did clean up a bit before I started the live, but I've got stuff everywhere. That one might work. Ah, there it is. I found it. This one's a bit thick. So I just want to outline this to see if it looks any better. And then it might grow on me a bit. I think it's to the fact that it's not got an edge that's bothering me. So I'm deliberately drawing with scribbly lines. Let's add our scribbly lines to the side as well to match the scribbly lines over the person's face. I'm just going to bring some scribbly lines down. Ah, that's looking a lot better. Well, I think so. I don't know. I find I do scribbly outlines on a lot of things because it does make them look a bit more finished. And the more scribbly sometimes the better. I'm liking their white faces. It gives a really nice contrast to the page. And I'll bring some white into the back of the page. Wow, it's 8:15 already. Where did the day go? Been running around like a mad chook today. I've already walked to the post office today. For anyone that doesn't know me, I don't drive a car. I have low vision and Vic roads won't let me on the road. Probably a good thing, but some days it's very frustrating. I had to express post something today, so I had to go off to the post office. And it's about a 2-kilometre return trip. The worst thing I hate is when I have to leave the house is put a mask on. I don't know about anyone else. Oh, you don't have to do it, Tabitha. You're in New South Wales. Could I come live with you so I don't have to wear stupid face masks when I go out of the house? I know they have a good reason, but oh, it so annoys me having to wear them. I'm just going to find my white pen to do my lines. Problem with the face mask is it keeps fogging up my glasses and then I can't see anyway. So I don't like to go out at the moment just because I don't like to wear the face masks. I'm terrible. So when I go out I try to do everything all at once and then I don't have to go out as many times. Just wanting to bring a bit more white into the background just to balance the white faces. So I'm just going to scribbly draw around some of the stenciling. Not going to draw around every bit of the stenciling. Just a bit here and there. I could put the stencil back over the top to get it perfect, but hey, I'm not perfect, so that would take too much effort. But you certainly can if you want it to be more lined up and perfect around your shape. You can definitely put your stencil back on. Why am I doing it there? Yeah, good point, Melinda. Why are you doing it there? Because it's going to be covered up. Getting carried away. So you can definitely put your stencil over the top and do it a bit neater. Sometimes I find if it's more messy, it looks better than if, well, that's a bit messy. If you try to do it perfect, and then if it's not perfect, it looks funny. Anyway, does that make sense? Here is mud, right? Oops. Some of these hollies are going a bit wayward. It's also going to tone down a bit of this darkness as well. So the pen I'm using at the moment is a broad Signo, what is it? Uniball Signo Broad from Officeworks. I find it goes over the paint really, really nicely. I find the broad works a bit better than, I did throw some of the, what do I do? The smaller ones on the desk as well. Oh, I'll put them over here. So you can get a finer one, but I find they play up a lot more on the paint. When you're drawing over your paint, you just want to make sure your paint is totally dry. Sometimes I will leave it overnight to come back and do my hand drawing the next day, because I've wrecked so many pens, it's not funny anymore over wet paint. So now I'm going to bring in some, I want to use these stamps in some way. Actually, I was going to sort of make wings, maybe. Maybe not. So these foam stamps are part of our new range out this month. They also come, you can buy with them a coordinating, I'm trying to find it in my box. Not that one. You can also buy a coordinating stencil and mask set to match these two designs. So I had in my head that I was going to use these as sort of feathery things. Like angel wings. But if I'm putting them together, maybe not. This is when it comes to the procrastination stage and I don't know what I'm going to do. We are going to go with the wings because that was my first thought, and let's just go for it. Okay. So what I actually did is I cheated, but you can easily take the stencil or the mask and trace them onto some white cardstock and cut them out, and then we're going to give them a bit of colour. I cheated and went and cut some on my laser machine just to make it go a bit quicker, but certainly at home you can trace around the stencils and cut some of them out. So let's decide how many we need, and then we're going to give them some colour. Or do they look funny? Maybe she needs a couple more. Maybe she needs some big ones. Little ones down the bottom, big ones up the top. I am going to look at doing these shapes in chipboard as well. They were just a last minute addition. I'm actually liking that. I don't know. Do you guys like it, or is it just me? Don't be offended if you say you don't like it. I don't mind, but I do like that. So what I'm going to do is just grab, oh, I'll throw that on the floor. Piece of paper went on the floor. I'm going to grab my gel plate. Any excuse to use my gel plate. I've just noticed I haven't put that lid back on my glue stick. Any excuse to grab my gel plate out, but did I grab my brayer? I'm just looking for my, oh, there it is, brayer quickly. I don't need an excuse to grab out my gel plate. I could sit here and hand paint them, but I'm going to quickly put some paint onto my gel plate. So if you've not heard of a gel plate before, it's basically a flexible sort of gelatin surface that you can roll paint out on and then make pretty patterns in the paint and put them on your projects. So it's a great way to colour stuff really quickly. So I've got some metallic paint here, gilt, and I sort of want to do it two-toned. What other colour do I want to put in? I'll put in a bit of brown umber, so a bit of Dina Wakley umber paint. And keep hitting my computer screen and the video keeps going off. So just going to put that down. I've just taken the gel plate out and put it on top of the clamshell packaging. Usually I put it on a Perspex sheet, but I don't know where that is at the moment. This will work. So I'm just going to roll these out and we are going to colour our wings and see what they look like. Love my gel plate, any excuse to get it out. So I'm just going to pop these leaves on here. They're going to act as a mask. So we're going to make a piece of pretty pattern paper. And I've got to make sure they go the right way, so they go face down. And move that over. So I'm just going to throw these on here. Grab a piece of paper. It's a quick way to colour die cuts. So these are cut out of a 400 GSM mixed media cardstock. We do have some of our shapes cut in this cardstock on the website. All our shapes are available in it. You can just request, say you like a particular shape and it's just listed as chipboard. I'm not going to list everything out of the white cardstock. That would just take forever, but you can certainly request them. So I'm going to just pull this off and then we get a pretty piece of pattern paper to use for something else. And we're going to pull our leaves off. I know I've missed bits of them. I'm going to put them back down in a second. So now we've got some beautiful two-toned wing shapes. The other reason I like doing it on here is because I can get sort of a mottledy look on it. A very easy way. I'm just trying to get the tip of that leaf that I missed. And I think I've done one of those back to front. That's okay. And this one, I'm just grabbing that extra paint. I should have done 2 sheets of paint, but that's okay. Where there's a will, there's a way. We'll get paint on it. So the gel plate is a great way to get paint on things very quickly. And I'm just going to grab the extra paint. And you make these pretty pattern papers that you can use on other projects. Then with the excess paint that comes off as well. So let's just put that over there. We may have to do that again because I think I've done one of my shapes back to front. I always do things back to front or upside down. This one I was going to have wings on. I don't know, this sort of sounded like a good idea. Don't know whether I like them now. I think I like them white. Did I just put... I think I just put a dirty fingerprint on her face. Actually, no, I think I like them white. After all that... let's put the gold ones on one side for now and put some white ones on the other side and see which one I like better. I like them white. Okay, we're not going to use the coloured ones. I do this all the time. I change my mind of what I want to do, but I do want to bring a bit of scribble onto them. So I'm just going to scribble onto the top of them. Because they're too stark white, but I do like the whiteness on them. So I'm just going to sort of trace around the inside of the shape. Again, you could do this with the stencil and then cut it out. I was doing this the other day on a layout that I was doing. I don't know, I'll put this one on, I might not like it either. I think that matches her head a bit better. I find the more scribbly I do this, the better it looks. So I'm not aiming to be perfect, because I don't think I could get it perfect if I actually tried. And I'm just using like a normal black pen, a big black pen, so it's nothing special. I get like this in my art journal. I'll move things around 100 times and be like, I'm not sure whether I like it, whether I don't like it. Maybe I just have to... Oh, now they go in the wrong direction. I can turn around this way. Maybe I just move the group over and have them this way. Oh, I don't know. You like the white too, Joanne? Yeah. Do you like the white with the black scribble on it? I think it makes it sort of match with the... makes it match with the face as well. So what I tend to like to do when I'm doing art journal pages is if I've got sort of scribbly... the scribbliness... No, I'm trying to put the top, that one up there. If I've got sort of the scribbly pattern on the faces, I'll try to bring it in to another element, whether it's in the background or the foreground. Actually, I like that. Let's go with that. Let's stop procrastinating, because I could be here all night for several hours moving damn things around. Or I shouldn't swear. Moving things around and procrastinating. Let's just stick it down. It's funny, I watch a few YouTubers and they just stick things as they go, and their layout or art journal page just seems to come together flawlessly, and I just can't do that. I think yes, Joanne, you like the black. I think I like the black. I find I can overthink things. Art journaling for me is supposed to be fun, and sometimes my art journals are more weirder than other people. I will do weird things. I know I've got to think about putting wings on everything at the moment. I've used butterfly wings, I've used die cuts, I've used vine stamps that I've got in my collection. I don't know why things have to have wings lately, but apparently they do. Maybe it means I'm missing travelling or flying. I don't know. Maybe it's got some deep-seated deep-seated thing. Now, do I have glue? Of course not. I'm going to grab some craft glue. What I'm going to do is glue them to the back of her, and then if I really, really don't like them, I can always take them off. I do miss the craft shows in person. Hillbilly Scrapping and I just started doing craft shows. We've been working together for about 6 months and really loving it. We hadn't killed each other yet. I suppose there's a first for that, isn't there? We've lived together in motels for a couple of days, so we haven't together as well, and done 4-day craft shows together. So we're really getting into a groove and a pattern of doing that, and then COVID hit, so I really miss the in-person craft shows. I've been doing craft shows for about 10 years, and it's just, I love it. I love the interaction with people. You like it around the one person? Yeah, I'm thinking I like it around the one person too. I like doing lives and I can ask your opinion. So we're hoping next year craft shows will be allowed again. We'll just have to see. But I know a lot of social distancing does not happen at craft shows. So we have planned for them next year, put them in our calendar, but we'll see whether it actually, oh, I like that now, whether they come, whether they actually happen or not. That's the word I'm trying to. Yeah, Joanne, you missed the shows too. Yeah, I miss the people. As I said, I've been doing craft shows for 12 years, and I still get a buzz at the craft shows when people pick up my chipboard designs and pay me money for them. I'm doing it for 12 years. I'm thinking that feeling and that will go away, but it hasn't. It's like, oh, I've made something and someone likes it enough to pay money for it. I know it's weird. I'm a weird person sometimes. And I get a lot of that sort of feeling when you place online orders as well. It's like, oh wow, someone likes my stuff enough to pay me some money for it. I don't know, it's a good feeling. And it pays my bills. You guys buying all my products keeps me in craft supplies. I've been very naughty lately, actually, absolutely naughty. So many stores have been having fantastic sales and I have been, yes, a bit naughty. That's the problem, being stuck at home. It's a lot easier to click on the online shopping and go, yes, I'll have that, yes, I'll have that. And then unfortunately you've got to wait for Australia Post to deliver it. I just went and bought myself a Christmas present the other day. Now when it arrives, I've just got to put it aside for Christmas. And it's like, oh, that's going to be hard. So just using some glue to glue these down. Just wanting to move her over and offset her a bit. Sometimes I don't completely glue these leaves down. Sometimes I'll just glue them in the middle so they sort of stick up a bit, if that makes sense. Yes, ladies, after bargains can be vicious. Yes, at the craft shows, I don't know how we're going to social distance because, yeah. And we pay by the square metre, so it's sometimes expensive to pay for some more winners. Oh, you're drawing... Naomi that's on is the owner of Paperific, one of the big craft shows we do. And she does lots of giveaways at the craft show, and they are fantastic. Yes, Naomi, then you forget what you've ordered when it takes 2 to 3 weeks with Australia Post. The thing that annoys me lately is a lot of companies I order from actually send stuff in single amounts, aka Kmart, Spotlight, Officeworks. So they send one thing in a box, which irritates me because then you've got to wait for several boxes and several weeks for all your stuff to arrive. Hopefully Post is getting a bit better, but then again with Christmas, I have no idea. Then again, I posted something to Swan Hill the other day, which is, I'm in Bendigo. Swan Hill is a 2.5 hour drive up the road. It has been taking a week for stuff to get to Swan Hill. Usually it's overnight, but I posted something to a customer the other day and she sent me a thank you. I'm going, who's that customer? Oh, she can't be the one from Swan Hill. Yes, they went back to overnight. But it's a bit hit and miss with the mail. I find sometimes things get stuck for 2 or 3 weeks and other things come through really quickly. God help us closer to Christmas with the Christmas rush. No, I think that's going to go behind. Oh, you're all set to go to the newer Penrith show this year. Yeah, I did Penrith for years. I haven't been up there for, probably 3 years now. Hillbilly and I were, I call her that. Jen from Hillbilly Scrapping and I were discussing coming up into Penrith maybe this year or next, which will be fun to do. I was looking at coming up myself and flying up and freighting stuff, but it just got way too expensive to do that. So maybe if craft shows happen, maybe they'll happen in New South Wales before they'll happen in Victoria. Most of the ones we do are in Victoria. Okay, now I'm thinking we need some of these leaves coming in from the top. So I'm going to grab my gel plate again, basically just to use as a palette, if I can find enough room. Just going to have it here off to the side. I'm actually going to use this. I have an idea to have some foliage coming in the top. Why? I don't know. What colour paint are we going to use? Not umber. I want to use night. Did I grab night? No, I didn't. What colour did we use? Is that marine? I might just grab my night paint because that's my favourite colour and it should have been in my box. No, that's lapis. Too many blue colours. Let me just grab my whole box of paints. Night should be in here. Is it this one? No, that's black. That one. Only fifth time lucky. I don't have all the colours yet. I'm trying to be good and not buy any more colours. Yes, I ordered from Kmart for the first time and I didn't realise that the dumbbells come in one. So I got one. Oh, I shouldn't laugh, Naomi. That's funny. At least you can do one side, one arm. I went to order something from Kmart and they kept refunding it. They wouldn't post it out. It was so frustrating. And I eventually had to go into store and buy it. And it's like, really, if you have it on your website, it's available, and I can put it in my cart and I can pay for it, why then go and refund it? Yeah, I haven't ordered. I loved when Kmart bought in free shipping for over $45 because their shipping was ridiculous before that. And yes, I've spent way too many orders with Kmart. So I'm just rolling out some paint on my gel plate and using it as a palette to load up my stamp. You could load up your stamp with the brayer as well. It's a bit hard boxing with one. Yes, it would be one-sided. Oh, Kmart are a bit funny like that sometimes. I didn't stamp properly. See if I can get... I just found it funny the first time I ordered. It was before COVID, it was years ago, and I ordered like 3 pairs of shoes and a couple of pieces of clothing, and they all come in separate bags. It was absolutely ridiculous. And they do it now as well. You get this huge box with not much in it. The bunnies like it when we get deliveries because they get all our cardboard boxes to destroy. I'm surprised they're not destroying boxes at the moment. It is their witching hour. It's their hour to... Usually at dusk and dawn they're the most active. The bunnies, ricking things and running around their cage. Oh, you're click and collecting the other one. That would be a lot quicker, yes, than waiting for Australia Post. Unfortunately, my Kmart is a 2 kilometre one-way, or 2 kilometre walk there and 2 kilometre walk back. So that would certainly get me fit, wouldn't it? I walked down the other day with my daughter, but I don't walk down there very often. So I'm just putting some foliage coming in, and then I'm going to outline it with white, I think, to make it pop. Yes, a big box, a quarter full, and they don't tend to put a lot of packaging in, I've found. They just dump things in the box, and I've had a fair few things broken from Kmart. I think their packers need to get some lessons in how to pack stuff. Just going to put some more foliage up here. I love using these foam stamps. I'm a bit addicted lately. If I can use a foam stamp in a project, I will make sure I can get one in there. Especially the vine one, the other one, not this one, the long skinny vine one I have on my site. Once I started making that, I think I've used it in just about every project that I have done. Let's just do one down here. I need some more paint. I find the gel plate just puts the right amount of paint on the stamp. Yes, select to click. Oh, Spotlight are hopeless. I wish I could click and collect through Spotlight, but it's 2 buses away, and it would take me... How long would it take me to walk in there? Probably take me an hour, probably an hour and a half to walk there. I don't know, I'm just not going on buses at the moment. I haven't been on a bus in, oh wow, since March. That's a long time. If I absolutely have to go somewhere, I usually jump in a taxi at the moment. I don't know, in my mind, I think I feel safer than a bus. Maybe I'm just weird. I have to stop stamping, I think. I'm actually really liking this page. Amazingly enough. I didn't know. I think they need hats, though. Maybe they need Christmas hats. That's an idea. So I've rolled out the paint here, and as you can see, I've got, well, you can see it really well, stamped in images. So again, I'll just grab some of this greaseproof paper from Woolworths. I love using this stuff. When you glue this greaseproof paper down, it almost disappears. Sorry for the noise. Oops. Oh, I've got stuff everywhere. I've got a bigger mess now. Well, the rest of the roll goes on the floor. So when you glue this down, it almost disappears, and you only see the paint or the ink that you've got on it. So it's got a shiny side and a plain side. I always put my paint or ink on the plainer side, and then I glue the shiny side down just so it's not matte. Ooh, isn't that pretty? This paint's getting a bit dry. I'm going to dry off my foliage, do some white, and then I might find a Christmas hat for my little people, because it is a Christmassy page. What time is it? Oh wow, it's 8:40 already. Wow, where does time go? I can sit and art journal for ages. Okay, what am I doing? While I'm cutting Christmas hats, I've got some stamped images already stamped out I was using for another project. I'll cut some of these out and let's give them a funky hat. Let's cut one of these trees down for a hat just because I think they need a hat maybe. So these are, let me think of the name. Diane, I always get these two mucked up. Diane Reevely, Delusion stamps. So this is one of her Christmas stamps. I'm wondering if they're going to be too big. Let's cut one out and have a look. So what I tend to do when I get these sort of rubber stamps, which I use more for embellishments, is I cheat a little. I will go and stamp one page out and take it to my photocopier, and as long as I don't use the photocopies in a class kit, I'm alright to do it. I photocopy the pages, so then I've got lots to play with, and it saves me stamping them out again. Otherwise I would be stamping them out, and I find I use them a lot more if I've got the images sort of stamped out. If I have to go and go, oh, I want a Santa hat, oh, I've got to go find my stamps, I've got to go find my ink, I've got to go find my stamping platform, I'm less likely to use the image. So if I have them stamped out or secretly photocopied, not supposed to do that. Ooh, I don't know, do you like the hat? I think maybe. Let's cut a bigger one out. Maybe I'll cut this one down just a bit tall because it will come off the top of the page. So I'll do some hats, and then I'll do some white outlining on I want to outline these foliage with white, and then my page is just about done. Because I've got other work to do tonight. I've got to go back to work after I do this. But today I just decided I just wanted to play in my art journal. So I thought, why not turn the camera on and have some company. Some days I find just sitting down, even though I've got loads of work I should be doing, sometimes just sitting down and taking an hour out of my day to sit and play in my art journal. Whether I finish the page in one sitting, I will this time. Sometimes I'll just sit and make a background. Sometimes I will just take a pre-done background and cut some of these shapes out and stick them on. So when you're art journaling, you don't have to finish a page in a sitting. A lot like scrapbooking and card making. Or you can procrastinate for 2 days and make a card, Tabitha. I'll pick on Tabitha, won't I? Oh, that is a bit disproportionate. Okay, let's cut that down a bit. Let's go in here and cut this down. I think I was using hats on some other layout I was doing the other day. Oh, I like that one. Okay, she needs a hat as well. Oh, Joanne, thanks. Glad I decided to art journal. Yes, I've had a busy few days, and actually I think I'm going to put holly on this person's head. Trying to get I've been designing classes for Craft Alive, designing classes for a virtual retreat and an in-person retreat. It's been a very busy few weeks. And I haven't played in my art journal for so long just for me. I miss it. I usually used to do it lots, but now it's different having to use a certain product. Usually when I'm teaching classes, I have to incorporate a certain product, which makes it a whole lot harder. When I can just use just about anything. I find I have a few more ideas. Sorry if I'm off screen, I just have to see when I'm cutting. That's my low vision coming into play. I don't mind fussy cutting, but usually it has to be quite close to my head. That way? That way. Oh no, that covers up her face. That way. If it's not working, it's not working. I'm about terrible at setting things aside. I have to try and power through and finish them. I'm a bit like that, Tabitha. I have filmed, I think, 5 out of my 7 class videos. I've got to film another one tomorrow. It's just, I've set aside a certain product I want to use in it, and I just can't come up with any ideas, and it's like, I don't know, is it like crafter's block? Just need to stick this down. I do like the hats on it. I think that's why I like art journaling more than scrapbooking, because I can just put anything on the page and I don't have to worry about if it goes. Or I find with scrapbooking, I've got to find the photo, I've got to find the pattern paper, then I've got to find the embellishments that match, and it's sort of a bit harder. And cards just frighten me still. I am doing a bit more card making, but I don't know, small things just still scare me. So I went and bought a small art journal the other day. So I thought maybe I will get over my fear of small things if I do some small art journaling. Just had to go on a mouse hunt so I could shop. The hats look good, thanks Joanne. I'm actually needing to buy a second mouse. Technology and I hate technology at the moment. I'm working between 3 laptops, and this is going to sound so silly. I currently have 3 laptops, and certain laptops will only do certain things. One I only can edit videos on because that's got my editing software on it. My new laptop I bought has no speakers and has no sound, so I can't use that as my main laptop. But that one has the program to run my laser machine. And that one doesn't plug into my big screen anymore because it's got issues. This is a 3-month-old laptop. It needs to go to the laptop shop to get fixed. But I need to be able to run my laser machine off my daughter's laptop that I've stolen for a few months. She's not happy, by the way. Before I can send my laptop in to get fixed. So I'm just forever dragging one mouse between 3 different laptops, and I sit down to do something because I hate using that little screen that I just can't do it, that little thing, and move things around. So things are just taking forever to do lately because I am running between 3 laptops and plugging things into the laptops because they only have a couple of USB holes, and it's frustrating me. After this, I've decided after this craft event, I must get my daughter's laptop to work with my laser machine. Then I can send my laptop away to get fixed. Then I might be back to a bit of normality. Those leaves seem to be dry, so let's go and outline them with white. And then I think we'll stamp a saying on this, and we might call this done. I'm actually liking this page. I'm loving the colours, actually. Whoops. So I'm just going to turn this upside down because it is easier for me to draw. So with the stamp set and the foam stamps, with the stencil set and the foam stamps, it's not that one. Oh, I bet I don't have it here in front of me. Oh, I need to be right. I thought I grabbed it. No. Typical. Don't have the one I want. Okay. Well, I'll just show you and then I'll just do it by hand. So having the foam stamp set and the stencil are great to work in combination with each other because you can come back, this is the wrong stencil, but you'll get the idea. You can come back and put the stencil down and draw around your foam shape as well. I like the foam stamps because you can stamp them out on paper and cut them out with a white border. This is not quite dry. I think I'm going to wreck a pen. Let's go to my paint pen before I wreck a pen. So I'll just grab a card and, oh, this one, no, this one will do. No, this one. Sorry, grabbing a card to explain. So having the stamp set and the stencil set are a great idea because you can use them in conjunction with each other. This is a restamp. This is the Class 4 Craft Alive Tomorrow. And I've stamped out the foam stamps onto paper and fussy cut them out with a little bit of a white border. So that's really cool to be able to... I could have done that with these embellishments instead of stamping directly onto this bit of paper. If I wanted a bit more of a white border, I could have fussy cut them all out. But I would have been here for ages and you don't really want to see me do that. This will give us the same sort of look. This is a Posca paint pen. And I just want to... I noticed the lid wasn't on this properly, so hopefully I haven't killed it. It's only new. Come on, paint pen. Paint pens and I have issues. No, I think it's going to work. This is probably a bit thick to what I want, but we'll just go with it. Officeworks didn't have the smaller one in stock. So I'm just going to try to be really light-handed. Trying to see where my leaf is. It's got lost. How's that looking? I like the white standing out, so I'm just going to trace over these very lightly. This is I think this is a 5M size. I prefer the 3M, but as I said, Officeworks didn't have it, so I thought I'll get this one and just have a bit thicker line. Usually I don't like Posca paint pens because I find they dry out really quickly if I don't use them. I suppose most things dry out if you don't use them very often, but I'm trying to be good with this one and use it and not let it sit there for a while. So the white's just going to make them pop out, which is really cool. So this will also bring the white into the background as well, because we've got a lot of white in the front, in sort of what I call the foreground, or the focal images. I'll post some pictures of this in the Facebook group when I'm finished, so you can see some close-ups of it. So I know sometimes it's a bit hard to see. Well, it is for me to see. I missed half a leaf. I wonder why it looks funny. Sometimes it's hard to see when we got our camera all the way zoomed out. What am I doing? I've got to do these couple of leaves. So this is acrylic paint, so it is permanent. So if I go and do anything over the top of it, it won't get disturbed. But you've just got to be careful you don't put your hand in it before it sets. I've done that before. So I'll be doing another live at 1 PM tomorrow. I have got an idea. I'm actually going to do a card, Tabitha. Do some more cards. I've got an idea in my head. I've got to do a mock-up of it tonight. And make sure it works before I come on. I'm doing a live at 1 PM every day for the rest of the week. This one I decided to do as an extra one because today I just showed you all the new products and chatted. I don't know, I might come on and do another live at night. I don't know. If I do that, I will certainly post with some notice maybe, or I'll just jump on and have a play. Now I think this needs a black border, so I do a bit of a cheats black border. I like using alcohol markers in my art journaling, A, because they're permanent, and B, because they write over just about everything. So I don't go and buy expensive ones. Jen from Hillbilly Scrapping has actually got in a range of Montmartre ones, and I've been playing with those. And for the price, they are fantastic for art journaling. I have not attempted to colour or shade with them because that's not me. Oh, you'll be home tomorrow, Tabitha, so you can watch. Yes. Maybe you can give me some hints if I get stuck on my card. Tabitha is a fantastic card maker. and does some awesome things with card making. I'm just making some room so I can turn my book around because it's easier to... Now let's just pile things on the floor. I'll clean the floor up in a minute. So I like to use the chisel tips to do borders around my pages just to give it a bit of definition. So you can sort of... I'm not in frame. No, I'm trying to... So you can sort of rest the chisel tip on the page and sort of go along, and it will sort of give you an even border. If it's not even, it doesn't matter. Just wanting a small border. I can't see what I'm doing, which is nothing unusual. Just wanting a small border on it just to finish off the page. I can get rid of these 2 bits of paper now. Got bits of paper everywhere. I'm about to have chipboard everywhere because I've got to package up orders from today. I'll make sure I get Alexis to do yours, Tabitha. She likes picking orders. She's a good help. She's a good helper. When I bribe her with cherry tomatoes or chocolate. I'm just being wary I'm not putting my hand in that white paint. Some of it's still... Ideally, if I was doing this not on a live, I would have dried my white paint first, but try not to use the heat tool as much as I would normally, because I know it's annoying to listen to. Oops. So the alcohol markers are great because they're permanent as well. So if I go to add anything to this, I don't have to worry about the alcohol markers moving. Now, am I going to go in front of the ladies or behind the ladies? That is the question. No, I'm going to go in front of her. Knock her into the background. I'll go in front of this one. And we'll knock them into the background a bit. Oops. Oh, trying to stay in frame now. I get carried away. I think I'm just about done. I don't think it needs anything more unless it needs some dots. Does it need some dots? I think it needs some white dots maybe. Just finding this dark area up here in the background is just a bit dark for my liking. So if you've got a dark area, you can just put some white dots and it will lighten it up. And if you've got a light area that you don't really like, you can put... Now I don't know whether I like it. Oh God, I think it's time to go. Now we put dots there, we're going to put dots here. We're going to like it. It's snowing on the page, that's what these white dots are. So it's just going to lighten that and knock a bit of that dark area back. Knowing when to stop with art journaling is a skill I'm still trying to learn after... How long have I been art journaling? 3.5, 4.5, 5... 6 years I think I've been art journaling. I was trying to count how many houses I've been in to know when I started. Isn't that dreadful? Just a little bit through here. And then I'm going to stop because otherwise I could sit here and fiddle all night. I don't think it needs anything else. Actually, I think they need some pink cheeks. What can I do with pink cheeks? Mainly because she's got a fingerprint on her. I wonder whose fingerprint that is. Oh, maybe gold cheeks. Maybe a bit of gold paint. I might regret this and have to go cut another face. Let's give them some makeup. See if I can cover up. I just want a tiny little bit of... What am I using? Gilt. Just put a little bit on my scrap paper, brown paper I have on my desk. And just sort of tapping on with my finger. Oops, that's not where a cheek is. Let's go up a bit. Oh, now she's done it. She's got a finger in paint. She's going to put some other places. As I told you, knowing when to stop is hard with art journaling. I struggle with that all the time. Sometimes I go too far and then I can't take it away. But because I put that in one spot, I like it to be in a couple of spots. Now I am going to stop. Just a little bit on her dress because she didn't get any prettiness on her paper, so she's got to match the others. She's got to be a bit mixed metery. Tiny little bit. Can I get a tiny little bit more paint out? I like these Dina Wakley bottles. They have quite a fine tip on them, so they're really good when you just want a tiny bit of paint. You can just squeeze a tiny bit out, which is great. Okay, I'm going to stop now. You like the gold cheeks? Yeah, I think, well, I sort of had to fix up the big fingerprint I put on the cheek. I don't like working with white on my pages because inevitably it's going to have a smudge on it because, as you can tell, my hands are covered and they've got stuff on it from earlier today as well. Okay, I think I'm done. I think I have kept you long enough. Wow, that's an hour and a half. Where did that time go? It's 9 o'clock. And I've got to edit a video and go cut some chipboard and poke chipboard. It's my least favourite job, poking all the bits that don't flick out when I flick it madly. I'm actually very happy with that page. I will go take some photos and pop it up in the Facebook group. Thank you very much for watching, everyone, and come back tomorrow at 1 PM for a card with some, I'll give you a sneaky hint, might be a window, could be some alcohol inks, could be some, well, it's going to be Christmas, could be. Could be a lot of things. Could go disastrously wrong and you won't get a card with a window and alcohol inks tomorrow. Thanks, Lynn. Thanks, Joanne. Thanks, everyone, for watching. And I'll pop some photos in the Facebook group. And I'll see you again another day for the Great Australian Craft Show. Last one for the year. I can't believe it's October, middle of October already. It'll be Christmas before we know it. Thanks, Joanne. You enjoyed it. Sometimes my projects are a bit weird, so I often wonder whether people like them or just think I'm a 5-year-old creating stuff. Maybe I'll get Alexis to join me in one of the lives and we can make a project together. Her projects are always better than mine. Thank you very much. I'm going and off to do my other work. I'll see you guys all tomorrow.